I relinquish the gavel to immediate past State Deputy Dale Weber for the purpose of calling on a report.
I now call on the State Deputy's report. Jamie C. Roth.
Reverend State Chaplain, Reverend Fathers, State Officers, past State Deputies, District Master, Directors, Chairmen, District Deputies, General Agents, Field Agents, Delegates, my brother knights, and guests. 1 year ago, as I sat in my home office during our 119th virtual state convention, you honored me with the election to the office of State Deputy. I told all of you I never imagined we would ever live in a time in which we were called upon to serve in ways we did not anticipate. I told those delegates that I would do my best because the Knights of Columbus deserves our best. I would do my best, and that the Knights of Columbus is deserving of my best. That I would trust my instincts as I fight the daily fight. Some we would win, some we would not, and some we would only know in time. But I promised each and every member here in Kansas that I would leave each day hopeful that that day's sacrifice had been well worth it, that my instincts did not lead us astray, and that my best was good enough. My brother knights, I told you in times of crisis, we must not come to cynicism and mistrust. Instead, we must maintain faithful while embracing reason and truth, and we could only do this through transparency. Believe me, when I know what all of us have been going through these past 15 months. I know there has been confusion and fear, and I know that some of us did not even feel safe leaving our own homes. My brother knights, remember those words that President Lincoln cautionally spoke when he said, "A house divided against itself will fall." We are at a similar crossroads here today, but Lincoln did not expect his house to fall, and I damn sure know the Knights of Columbus in Kansas will not fall. The nearly 38,000 members have had to make some of the most difficult decisions they've had to make in generations. Would we stand united, or would we break apart because of fear? I left that decision up to each and every one of us. I trusted you, and you put your trust in me. I trusted this order, your order, my order, the Knights of Columbus in Kansas. Did we make the right choices this past year? I think you will see after hearing this report, Kansas has stood strong. We've stood united, and we've made sure that no neighbor was ever left behind. However, at the end of this report, I ask you to analyze in your own minds whether the order in Kansas is living up to the mandate handed to us. Are we serving our church, our youth, our family, and our community to the best of our ability? Gentlemen, immediately after I was elected, I began working on the 2020-2021 fraternal year. I wanted to make this fraternal year as comprehensive as possible, recognizing our order here in Kansas and accomplishments so much that our deeds and our achievements deserve not only to be heard, but to be recorded for prosperity. The first and most important position was that of our spiritual leader for the Knights of Columbus here in Kansas. The Most Reverend Carl A. Kimmy, the Bishop of Wichita Diocese, honored our request and assigned Reverend Bernie Georges from Schulte. Father Bernie has always shown a great interest in the Knights of Columbus on both a local and a state level. His words of wisdom and encouragement have been an inspiration to us all. We give him our thanks and our appreciation for serving us and for the many sacrifices he has had to make on our benefit. To you, Father Bernie, we say thank you. I then needed to focus on an associate state chaplain. The Most Reverend Joseph F. Naumann, the Archbishop of Kansas City, Kansas Archdiocese, honored us and assigned Father Meinrad Miller from the Order of Benedictines from Atchison. Father Meinrad has a very strong understanding of the Knights of Columbus here in Kansas, as well as on a supreme level. I also want to express my appreciation to Abbot James Albers from the Order of Benedictines for granting the approval for his appointment. Father Meinrad, we thank you for your service to the Knights of Columbus here in Kansas. Over the past 8 years, the State Council has experienced extreme financial issues. Each of my predecessors and their team of officers worked very diligently to make cuts that would not impede on the program and growth of the order here in Kansas. I made the decision to go one step further and to eliminate all printed documents and to have all correspondence from the State Council be virtual. Now, to make this possible, I had to restructure the programming team and develop an administrative team. I would then add a leadership team consisting of our Associate State Chaplain, our State Administrative Director, the State Program Director, and the State Membership Director. I appointed Doug Weethorn as my Administrative Director. Doug is a former state warden and has a solid understanding of how the State Council works. Doug has worked by my side and has also overseen the IT department, meetings chairman, historian, legislative liaison, social media, publicity, and fraternal chairman, and audiovisual chairman. The next big task was that of selecting my directors and chairman. It was important for me to appoint men who I could delegate these responsibilities of developing these programs and then developing the guidelines of them and then following them through to their conclusions. My first and most important appointments were those of the program and membership directors. For the all-important position of program director, I needed a man who could prove himself as an organizer and a strong understanding of the order on the programming level, both here in Kansas as well as on a supreme level. I felt Kevin Ballman was this man. He had just completed a successful year in a dual role as community director as well as Pennies from Heaven chairman. For the very important post of membership director, I wanted a man with experience in sales and a firm conviction to the order's principles and of our order. I felt Ed Miller met these requirements and would succeed in this position. Ed and I have worked very closely together, and he has done everything that I've asked of him. Next came the very important task of appointing the men to serve as our district deputies for the state of Kansas. 16 new district deputies and 39 reappointed district deputies accepted my call to serve. I have asked a lot from these men this year, and I express my thanks for your efforts and dedication to the order. You were selected because of your leadership ability within your respective districts. I feel our success this year is due in large part to the efforts and dedication that you gave us. As the pandemic continued during the first week of June, I glued myself to the home office chair as I attended a virtual state deputy training meeting. The Supreme programs and requirements for qualifying for Supreme awards were established. During that June virtual state deputy meeting, then State Supreme Knight, Carl Anderson, explained that in times of needs, the Knights of Columbus will always stand up and will serve. He asked all the state deputies to have each of their councils make sure that no neighbor, whether they were a Catholic, a Knight, or a regular community member, were safe and healthy. Later on in his speech, he informed us that the Supreme Council would not be charging Supreme per capita to councils and members for July of 2020, January of 2021, and July of 2021, with the hopes that councils would assist their parishes, their state, and their local communities with these monies. At that time, I came up with the idea to have every council in Kansas donate $3.25 per member to the state council so that we could in return present a check to each of the Catholic charities to assist them in caring for people affected by this pandemic. I then ran this idea by the other state officers, and they overwhelmingly agreed to support this worthwhile program. I then approached the KofC Charities Aid Foundation to see if they would be willing to assist in this worthwhile program. After much discussion, they agreed to match dollar for dollar, the first $30,000 raised by the local councils. I then set a goal to raise $100,000 for this program, which will allow us to present each of the Catholic charities a check for $25,000. My brother knights, I am pleased to announce that this program has raised $106,000, allowing me to present a check on your behalf to each of the diocese Catholic charities, a check for $26,500. Job well done. After the state deputies training, the state officers and the leadership team had several virtual meetings to develop our virtual state planning meeting to be held the entire week of June 22nd through the 27th. These meetings were attended by the state officers, the past state deputies, general agents, and the directors and chairmen. During these meetings, all programs were reviewed and the plans for membership and programming were put into place for this fraternal year. The plans were modeled after those of the Supreme Council training, with changes being made to meet our specific needs here in Kansas. At the conclusion of these meetings, we felt prepared to present these programs to the district deputies. Now, during the month of July, 7 district deputy virtual training meetings were held. At these meetings, the plans for the fraternal year, as well as the duties of being a district deputy, were presented to those district deputies. At the conclusion of these meetings, the district deputies had their plan for the fraternal year. Goals for each district were established and pledges were made. The district deputies understood that the only way that any of these goals could be reached is by enlisting the support and help of their councils and local members within their district. In order to keep the Grand Knights and councils better informed of information, dates, and deadlines, in addition to the program and membership guides, the Explorer newsletter had been published and distributed through emails and fraternal notices. I encourage each of you Grand Knights to continue to use the Explorer at your meeting for the reference at planning of your upcoming events. Now, as the month of August began and the pandemic continued to linger on, the Supreme Council made the decision to have the 138th Supreme Convention virtually. Jurisdictions were asked to meet with their delegates in a central location within their own state. The first week of August found the immediate past State Deputy Dale Weber, myself, State Chaplain Father Bernie Georges, Associate State Chaplain Father Meinrad Miller, and the 8 delegates, along with the state officers and the state leadership team, in attendance at the 138th virtual Supreme Convention that the state of Kansas held in Manhattan. This convention included many highlights, and although the convention was virtually, the leadership of then Supreme Knight Carl Anderson provided always makes the Supreme Convention a joyous and memorable event. Now, to oversee the very important position of State Program Director, as I said a moment ago, I enlisted in Kevin Ballman. The responsibilities of Program Director includes the task of seeing that all service program personnel reports, the fraternal survey report forms, are completed and turned into Supreme on time. Kevin successfully completed this task, and he is now working on making sure that all of the SP7 Columbian Award application forms are completed before the conclusion of this fraternal year. Kevin has had a very busy year, and I sincerely thank him for his help, his friendship, and dedication to the Knights of Columbus here in Kansas. Thank you very much, Kevin. For the position of Faith Director and Vocation Chairman, I appointed Todd Luters. In discussing this program with Todd, I challenged him to work with each of the councils to assure that every one of the seminarians were adopted and each of them would receive at least $1,000 in Adopt-a-Seminarian money. To date, 91 diocesan seminarians and 19 other religious have received more than $169,300 in pledges. This is a tremendous accomplishment, and you are all to be commended for your efforts. The growth of this program can be seen on the contributions displayed on the screen. Men never forget that the unwritten responsibility as knights is the support and defense of our priesthood. The continued support of the Adopt a Seminarian program is more than simply supporting the men who are in the seminary, discerning whether or not the call to priesthood is correct for them. The support will hopefully allow these seminarians to understand that the Knights of Columbus is one organization that will support these men even after they become priests. Participation in the vocation poster contest seen 17 different districts participate. I would ask that all of you consider participating in this worthwhile project as it promotes vocational awareness within our youth. The winners will be on display this weekend. For the position of Religious Education Fund Chairman, I appointed Lino Munoz. This year, I thought it was time to raise the number of tickets sold to 2020. That's right, 2020. Although many Brother Knights felt that this was an unreasonable task in the current conditions that we were living in, I felt it needed to be done. Through Lino's efforts, we were successful in selling 2,124 $100 raffle tickets. This was a new record which allowed us to distribute more than $93,375 to Catholic high schools and parishes requesting funds. Now, since this project began, more than $2 million has been distributed. The need for this program is evident in the 249 requests from local parishes. Father Bernie, I extend a special thank you to you for being the chairman of the Religious Education Fund request. A sincere thank you goes out to Todd, Lino, and Father Bernie for all your outstanding accomplishments in the church activities area. Thank you. For the position of family director, I appointed Kevin Roberts. His job was to encourage councils to promote activities involving the entire family. Now, at tonight's banquet, we will be recognizing the Family of the Year. There are still many families in our councils who are not being recognized for their tireless efforts that they are doing for our churches and our communities. I challenge each of you to review this program and see if your council would be willing to have a monthly participant. I wish to thank Kevin for his efforts. Another important program area sponsored by the Knights of Columbus is that of the youth activities. Gentlemen, why is this program area so important? It's simple, gentlemen, because the youth are the future leaders and our future priests, deacons, and sisters. Now, to fill this position of youth activities chairman and free throw chairman, I reappointed Gary Shinlever. Now, due to the pandemic, we were unable to host any of the regional and state free throw competitions. I give a big hats off to all of those councils and districts that were able to find a creative way to conduct their competitions. I also thank Kevin and Gary for all their work that they have done in the family and the youth activities. As Community Director and Pennies from Heaven Chairman, I appointed Travis Worse. Travis and his crew are very busy this weekend collecting your funds. However, he will not have the final figures to report until Sunday morning. Through this worthwhile program, we were able to assist families in times of immediate need through our Emergency Disaster Aid Program, or all of us know it as EDAPT. Since its inception, we have raised more than $1.7 million, which is shown on the following graph. For Council Activities Chairman and Athletic Events Chairman for this fraternal year, I appointed Mike Ballman. Wellington Council 22-27 hosted the annual Kansas State Council Golf Tournament on July 25th and 26th at Wellington Golf Course. Then the 77th Annual State Bowling Tournament was hosted by St. John Paul II Assembly, 2461 Lawrence, and then the Knights of Columbus State Council Trap Shoot was held April 24th at SPC Sporting Clays in Augusta, Kansas, and it was hosted by the Clomel Schulte Council, 3114. A sincere thank you to Travis and Mike for all their tremendous efforts and work in community and council activities. As Life Director couple, I appointed Joseph and Emily Roth. To date, $324,830 has been donated by 149 councils. Brother Knights, the trend shows members in Kansas truly are working to build a culture of life. The last 10 years reflects over $3 million being donated for life activities seen on this chart. Joe and Emily also report a total of 101 memorials to the unborn have been dedicated and additional 92 Culture of Life road signs and billboards have been reported to them as well. There have been more than 136,000 rosaries prayed this year in support of life. The Knights of Columbus also continues to work closely with the Kansas Catholic Conference on legislative issues like the Value Them Both Amendment and other concerns that the Catholics here in Kansas have. For the 13th year in a row, Kansas has been very active in participating in the Supreme Sonogram program. I am very pleased to announce that through local council continued effort, that the state council was able to install 6 new ultrasound machines, bringing our total to 24. The locations for this fraternal year included Concordia's Heart Choices, Goodland's Hope's Place, Newton's Heartland Pregnancy Care Center, Wichita Choices Medical Care Center, Kansas City's Pregnancy Clinic, and Overland Park's Advice and Aid. Funding for the Osborne Heart Choices is completed, and we're awaiting Supreme's approval. More projects continue to develop in the areas of Iola, Wichita, Pittsburgh, Emporia, and Manhattan. To fill the position of Commitment to Humanities Chairman and Tootsie Roll Chairman, I appointed Patrick Burnett. Our Tootsie Roll Drive raised $216,417 this year, and 163 councils participated. For this, Knights across Kansas should take great pride. As all of you know, the pandemic did not allow councils to distribute Tootsie Rolls in the traditional way. I would also like to thank councils that looked outside the box to come up with creative ways to conduct this and support this worthwhile program. In the past 51 years, more than $9 million has been given to this program as seen on the following charts. The Kansas State Council continues to be the prime sponsor of the Kansas Special Olympics basketball and cheerleading competition held each March. The state officers, leadership team, and the Commitment to Humanities Chairman gathered in Topeka to present a check for $19,210 to the Special Olympics Kansas we appreciate Kansas Special Olympics for finding a unique way to have their virtual state basketball and cheerleading competition holding a closing ceremony. This amount, along with the annual donations to the bishops of Kansas diocesan program for people with intellectual disabilities, represents the 20% retained by the state council. I wish to thank Emily and Joseph and Patrick for all their tremendous efforts in the life activity areas this year. Along with all the responsibilities of the administrative director, Doug Weethorn also oversaw our Kansas State Council website, www.kansas-kfc.org. It has continued to grow and improve under the direction of Doug and as webmaster. Throughout this fraternal year, Doug has been very busy, continually updating and ensuring that our website is up to date. Thank you, Doug, for all you do and all your outstanding work on the website. As publicity and fraternal chairman, I appointed Ray Dashnow. We were able to print several articles in the diocesan papers regarding councils and state-sponsored events. Publicity at the council level still needs to be improved. When holding a fundraiser or any type of council activities, please be sure to publicize these events. This allows those men you've asked for donations to know what their funds are going to and being distributed to. It also lets prospective members know what your council activities are. I would like to thank the editors of the Levin of Kansas City, the Advance of Wichita, the Southwest Kansas of Dodge City, and the Register of Salina for their printing of our materials supplied by Ray and our local councils. Ray also promotes the Night of the Year program, as well as notices and emails informing us of deaths and illnesses of our state family. Sunday morning at our memorial mass, we will remember all those brother knights who have passed away this fraternal year. Another very important part of this fraternal program is the recognition of the knight and their charitable work. There are 17 different districts and 35 councils recognizing the Knight of the Year. Hopefully, in the future, I will see all councils participate in this worthwhile programs. I would like to thank Ray for all his outstanding job keeping the publicity of the order here in Kansas at the forefront. As state historian, I appointed Andy Gilner. His job was to compile the history of the councils here in Kansas. Andy also handles all the requests and orders for the second 50-year history book entitled Fraternalism and Leadership, the second 50 years of the Knights of Columbus in Kansas. In fact, he has placed several copies for sale in the country store at this convention. Thank you, Andy, for all your help in keeping the history of the order in Kansas alive. Now, to assist me in planning and setting up of our state officer meetings, our district deputy training meetings, I reappointed Stan Creer to the position of state meetings chairman. Stan is a great asset to the state deputy in negotiating and planning for the meetings. Stan has not had much to do as far as negotiating this year for new contracts, but he has been very busy in rescheduling and canceling meetings that we were unable to have due to the COVID pandemic. And so, Stan, I say thank you to you. For the position of audiovisual and social media chairman, I appointed Austin Lager. During these most difficult times, Austin has been there and assured that all meetings can be broadcast out to members that were unable to attend in person. This weekend, you will see him in the back of the room running all of the technology equipment and sharing the convention live to many individuals that were unable to attend. He has done an excellent job throughout this year, and to you, Austin, I say thank you for all your help. This year, I felt it was our obligation and our responsibility to become more actively involved within the Kansas Catholic Conference on moral and legislative issues that may arise. So I developed a position called legislative liaisons. I did not have to look far to appoint Chuck Weber to this position. Chuck is currently serving as the executive director of the Kansas Catholic Conference. By doing this, Chuck and I have been able to work extremely close on the Value Them Both bill and many other legislative issues during this fraternal year. I want to give Chuck a heartfelt thank you for all that you have done for the Catholic Church here in Kansas. To fill the position of IT coordinator, I reappointed James Letcher. The role is critical in developing our data so I can be presented, so many things can be presented electronically. This is just one way in which our order and state council was able to cut the budget on the printing and postage. Going forward, you will be able to obtain many of the reports and communications electronically. James has helped the State Council in developing, organizing, and maintaining our data for better use by all of our members. To you, James, I say thank you. To fulfill the position of convention chairman, I appointed Tom Smidler. Tom's role this year was to negotiate a 3-year contract with the city and a hotel for the 2022 to 2024 years. In late January, when the host council of this convention had to back out due to many issues regarding the COVID pandemic, I asked Tom to step forward and become this year's state convention chairman. In less than 4.5 months, Tom developed a team and went to work on making sure that the 2021 state convention took place in person. I would like to sincerely thank Tom for his work on the convention this year, as well as signing a 3-year contract for the years 2022, 2023, and 2024. Thank you to Doug, Andy, Stan, Ray, Tom, Austin, James, and Chuck for handling all of the administrative duties for the State Council. Based on the programming and administrative results you have just heard, I feel the welfare of the order here in Kansas is in excellent shape, even as we navigate through these unusual times. Now I'd like to direct my report to the growth of the order. That is the membership recruitment, retention, new council development, ceremonials, membership growth, and membership retention are the 2 forces that will ensure that the continued prosperity of our order here in Kansas. As previously mentioned, I appointed State Membership Director Ed Miller. Also appointed to the state membership team was Steve Abels, John Reuter, Steve Prockies, Russ Bunnell, and Terry Schnagel as Regional Membership Chairman. Heath Ohl was appointed as Retention Chairman. Tristan Meist was appointed as College Council Coordinator. Eric Siebert took on a dual role as E-Member Coordinator and Regional Membership Chairman. Each of these Brother Knights monitored the region of the state in their areas for the membership. In June, we adopted the membership theme for this fraternal year. The family is the future. These were words from our late past Supreme Knight, Virgil C. Deckant, during the 1995 Supreme Convention in Kansas City. And it serves as a reminder that we should all invite Catholic men and their families to join our order. It also emphasizes the need to grow our membership and offer these new members the chance to grow in their families while continuing to help their parishes and their communities. To show where we are today, Supreme Council has shared the following history stats. Chart 1, displayed on the screen, shows you the total membership in our state as of July 1st of each of the past 7 years. As you can see in this 7 full year covered in this chart, our membership has increased by 427 members, an average of 61 members per year. Please note that these numbers are after deaths and transfers out of state, so-called uncontrollable losses. Now I direct your attention to Chart 2, which shows our intake of new members and suspensions for each of the same fraternal years. Now during these 7-year period, we signed up 7,939 new members, but we lost 2,941 through suspensions. Our net controllable gain for this 7-year period was 4,992, or an average about 713 per year. In and out of itself, this represents a pretty good gain. But remember from Chart 1 that after deaths and transfers out of state, the status that really counts is the average that we only increased by 61 members per year. The third chart that I would like to show you is membership activity for the last 7 years for a 10-month period of July 1st through April 30th, plus this fraternal year. As you can see, our suspensions are down over the 8-year average by more than 69 members, which is really good. Over the membership intake in that same time frame, we are up by nearly 87 new members on that 8-year average. This report shows that Kansas is doing an excellent job in membership this year. Our insurance department, led by our general agents, Greg Schaefer, John Mahon, Darren Reed, and Kevin Pierce, has experienced another great year in representing each and every one of us. The general agents have been a great asset again this year, working with them and their 30 field agents who provide some of the most comprehensive coverage that is second to none. I compliment all the general agents who have made great strides to make sure that all agencies in Kansas were fully staffed. These Brother Knights are also great recruiters. They provide assistance to new council development and should be called upon to assist with retention problems. Every council should enlist in the help of their local field agent and general agent. At this time, I ask all general agents and field agents to please stand and be recognized, and I ask all members of the Knights of Columbus to thank them for everything they've done this year. Thank you very much. We are proud to announce the addition of 2 new councils so far this fraternal year. There are Council 17620, Blessed Michael McGivney in Holy Cross Parish in Overland Park, and Council 17722, the Virgin Mary of Guadalupe in Sacred Heart Cathedral in Salina. These councils could not have been installed without the hard work of the membership team, the field agents, the general agents, and the local priest, and of course the members within those own parishes. Both of these councils that were installed so far this year are Hispanic-speaking councils. I wish to thank State Membership Director Ed Miller for all your hard work in making sure this is the banner year in membership. Ed, when churches were closed, councils were not able to have meetings, activities, you continue to come up with creative ways to recruit and grow the order here in Kansas. I also want to thank your membership team, Heath, Steve, John, Eric, Steve, Russ, Terry, Tristan, general agents, and field agents for an outstanding job of promoting membership and insurance this fraternal year. Thank you very much. To my fellow state officers, State Secretary Mike Grodoff, State Treasurer Gary Wandra, State Advocate Guy Steyer, State Warden Norbert Flax, thank you for sharing your time, your talent, and your treasure to the State Council. My sincere thanks to the past State Deputy Dale Weber for his advice and guidance. His experience and files were relied upon heavily, and he was always there to help me whenever I needed it. I express my deepest appreciation to our State Chaplain, Father Bernie Georges, and our Associate State Chaplain, Father Meinrad Miller. They have always provided guidance and spiritual information in a forefront manner, and on other areas in which they were, other areas in which I addressed them with. Father Bernie, on behalf of all the members of the Knights of Columbus here in Kansas, I say thank you again. Thank you very much. Father Meinrad, thank you for filling in and assisting Father Bernie on occasions when he was unable to attend meetings, and to say, on regards to this, we say thank you for everything that you have done for the order here in Kansas as well. Thank you. District Master Patrick Winchester and former District Master Scott Marth were very accommodating in dealing with issues regarding the fourth degree. Thank you one and all for all your support. To our KofC Charities Aid President, Vincent P. Melvin III, I extend a thank you for all your advice on matters of the KofC Charities Aid Foundation. To past state deputies John Rupp, Tom Zarda, Tom Deckant, Dave Leiker, George Miller, Bill Ballman, Tom Rottinghouse, Don Wagner, Francis Druid, Mark Roth, Scott Marth, Pat Winchester, Vince Melvin, and Dale Weber. I extend a thank you for all your advice and encouragement. I know at any time that I needed advice or help in regards to the Knights of Columbus, I could always count on all of you for your support and guidance. I thank you all for all your help. I purposely left one past state deputy off this list. That is past state deputy and current state advocate Guy Steyer. Words cannot express the thanks that I owe to you. This past January, when the position of state advocate became vacant, and the state officers voted to have you fulfill the remainder of this term, I knew the time to bring you up to speed on the duties of state advocate were little. Guy, you and your wife Julie have always been role models to Angie and I truly thank you and your wife Julie for all that you have done for the Knights of Columbus here in Kansas. Thank you. To our Regional Supreme Growth Director, James Caffrey, I say thank you. You have been my lifesaver on many occasions. Thank you for your guidance, your support, your help, and encouragement throughout this fraternal year. Jim, you are always welcome here in Kansas. Thank you very much. To past Supreme Knight Carl Anderson, I extend a heartfelt thank you and appreciation for everything that you've done for our order. To newly elected Supreme Knight Patrick Kelly, I pledge our loyalty and our support to you and to your fellow Supreme officers and to the Board of Directors. To the 55 district deputies who have given so freely of their time, I say thank you. You are the link between the local council and both that of the state deputy as well as the Supreme Knight. To the Grand Knights and delegates, I express my sincere gratitude for your support and your dedication to the order. I understand what a trying year this has been for all of you, and I have trying to have meetings and activities. You are people who have made this year happen. The dedication of the local council members are truly what the Knights of Columbus here in Kansas is all about. Please don't stop now, as much more work needs to be done in the coming months. Last but certainly not least, I want to thank the love of my life and my bride, Angie. With your continued support, encouragement, and understanding, I would not have been able to do this job, and I thank you for all your support. As I began this report, I stated that you would be asked to analyze in your own words whether the order here in Kansas is living up to the mandates handed down to us. I say yes, Kansas did stand strong. They did stand united, and we did make sure that no neighbor was ever left behind. Is Columbianism still a viable product, marketable to the men and their families today? I say yes. If you answer differently to any of these questions, I refer you to the lives of Blessed Michael McGivney and Christopher Columbus. Both were faced with great uncertainties, yet fulfilled their dreams. Like them, you too need only to let your faith express itself in courageous activities, and the courage leads you to leave no neighbor behind and assure that the family is the future. My brother Knights, I thank all of you for the privilege of serving as your state deputy to the greatest jurisdiction in our order. I pray to St. Joseph and Blessed Michael McGivney that intercede with the Lord to shower his blessing upon us all. Vivat Jesus, Vivat Maria. Respectfully submitted, Jamie C. Roth, State Deputy, Kansas State Council.
I now call on Past State Deputy Tom Deckett for the purpose of a motion to accept the State Deputy's report. We do have a motion and a second. I do declare the report accepted. Jamie, the podium goes back to you for further reports.
Thank you.
Good job.
I call on our state chaplain's report, Reverend Bernie Georges. Let's welcome him to the podium in the proper manner.
There you go.
Jamie, thank you for your short, brief report. Worthy State Deputy, worthy Supreme Director, State Officers, District Master, District Deputies, General and Field Agents, Delegates, and Brother Knights, greetings to you all. We have all had a challenging year. Plans were made and then changed. Meetings were set, then canceled. Gatherings were scheduled and then postponed, all because of the invisible enemy, KofC. Yet these obstacles did not hold back the Knights of Columbus in the state of Kansas. We continue to adapt, maneuver, and plow ahead. We continue to learn, prepare, and operate around each and every challenge. These obstacles and challenges strengthened our character, sharpened our wits, and further determined our resolve to serve God and neighbor through the Knights of Columbus. Further, I am convinced through the powerful intercession of St. Joseph, in this year dedicated to him, as I mentioned earlier, the terror of demons, the invisible enemy did not succeed in holding us back. Prior to the close of this last fraternal year, I had the honor of leading the state officers and other Brother Knights throughout the state of Kansas in the consecration to St. Joseph last May 1st. St. Joseph, the worker. This weekend, we celebrate our first anniversary of that consecration. All honor and praise goes to our spiritual father, St. Joseph. However, brothers, challenges will continue to come our way. More obstacles will be placed in our path. Barriers will be tried to dissuade our efforts, and forces will try to discourage us. But we will not fail. Failure is not in our code as Knights. Why? Because we do not fight alone. We fight shoulder to shoulder with our Brother Knights. Bound together through charity, unity, and fraternity, we together fight. Yet we do not rely on our own earthly grit and strength. We rely on the power of the Most High God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. We rely on the most holy, blessed Virgin Mary and her powerful earthly spouse, St. Joseph. St. Joseph leads us in this army of knights. He is our commander. He leads our fight. He leads us to fight and guard and protect. As he defended the unborn child, so too shall we. As he nourished and protected his woman, we too shall value them both. Brother Knights, It is a call to arms. So let us arm ourselves with the rosary of the Immaculate Mother and our consecration to St. Joseph. And let us defeat any enemy of Christ and his church. Let us vanquish this darkness and bring in the light. Let us banish death in our state and stand for life. Holy Mary, pray for us. Saint Joseph,
Pray for us.
Blessed Father Michael J. McGivney,
Pray for us.
respectfully submitted. Vivat Jesus.
The chair recognizes Kyle McMullen, delegate and Grand Knight of Council 3114, Clomel Schulte.
Worthy State Deputy, how about that? Kyle McMullen, Delegate and Grand Knight of Council number 3114, Clymel Schulte. I make a motion to accept the report of your worthy State Chaplain, Father Bernie Georges.
The chair recognizes District Deputy 36, Christopher Drum.
Worthy State Deputy Christopher Drum, District Deputy number 36, seconds the motion to accept the report of the State Chaplain.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. In the interest of time, I recognize District Deputy number 41, Lauren Haas, who has personally read all the other state officer reports that are printed in the convention booklet.
Worthy State Deputy, District Deputy number 41, I make a motion to accept the State Secretary, State Treasurer, State Advocate, and State Warden reports as printed in the Convention Reports Book.
The chair recognizes District Deputy 43, James Supis.
Worthy State Deputy, James Supis, District Deputy number 43. Seconds the motion to accept the State Secretary, State Treasurer, State Advocate, and State Warden report as printed in the Convention Report Book.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Sure. Motion carried. I now ask that the state officer reports be displayed on the Kansas State website for all else to read. While this is being done, I'll entertain a motion that the future reports be adopted by the drop of a gavel if no objections are raised. The chair recognizes District Deputy 11, Richard Warwick.
Worthy State Deputy. Worthy State Deputy. Richard Warwick, Council 11534, District Deputy number 11, would like to make a motion that all future reports are adopted by the drop of gavel if no objections are raised.
The chair recognizes District Deputy 14, Tony Hermrich.
Worthy State Deputy, Tony Hermrich, District Deputy 14, seconds the motion that all future reports be adopted by the drop of the gavel if no objections are raised.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Next, I call on the Audit Chairman, Daniel Schneider, and Grand Knight of Olmutz Council 2100 for the report on the Audit Committee.
Worthy State Deputy, Daniel Schneider, Grand Knight, Olmutz Council 2100. I and the members of the Audit Committee conducted an audit of the books of State Treasurer Gary Wandra and State Secretary Michael Grotoff. We found no discrepancies in any of the entries of the monthly registers or annual reports compiled from these records. Respectfully submitted, Daniel Schneider, Grand Knight, Olmutz Council 2100, Chairman, Audit Committee.
At this time, I ask the general agents and the field agents to begin passing out the prospective member cards to everyone, asking them to fill out for prospective members for the drawing that they are holding this weekend. So at this time, you may do that, dispense with those. At this time, I call on immediate past State Deputy Dale Weber and Chairman of the Budget Committee for his report.
Worthy State Chaplain, Reverend Fathers, worthy State Deputy, worthy Supreme Director, State Officers, District Master, District Deputies, General and Field Agents, Delegates, and Brother Knights. Pursuant to Article 6, Section 11 of the bylaws of the Kansas State Council, the Budget Committee met to establish the necessary expenses of the State Council's annual meeting for administrative expenses and appropriations for the 2020-2021 budget year of the State Council. According to the membership figures supplied by the Supreme Council, as of April 1st, 2021, Kansas has 37,615 members. Included in this total are 6,154 honorary life and 60 disabled members. Thus, there are 31,401 accessible members. The total consists of 30,789 non-college council members with a levy of $5 per member, and 612 college council members with a levy of $2.50 per member. Therefore, the projected income for the 2021-2022 budget year is estimated to be $155,475. The total projected expenses are projected to be $181,157, leaving a deficit for a negative $25,682. The Kansas State Council will be holding the on-site convention as you see this year. However, the numbers are expected to be down to the COVID-19 pandemic, which is reflected in the expenses, resulting in a decrease in cost of approximately $3,000. These cost decreases are primarily from lower mileage and per diem expenses, coupled with approved budget cuts of more than $30,000 in the areas of printing, postage, Explorer mailings, and Night's Light publications for the 2021-2022 budget year. Thus, we are not recommending a per capita increase due to the current budget cuts and anticipated receipts. However, due to increasing costs, including the increase in future honorary life members, the slow membership growth over the last several years, and the much anticipated return of the full on-site conventions in future years, the committee strongly suggests the State Council consider a per capita rate increase in the near future. Pursuant to Article 8, Section 6 of the bylaws, I move the adoption of the report of the Budget Committee, which, if approved, would result in a per capita tax of $5 per accessible member, the same as last year. I express my appreciation to the Budget Committee members of the past state deputies for their help in preparing this report. Respectfully submitted, Dale Weber, immediate past state chairman, a deputy chairman. Thank you.
At this time, I call on State Advocate and past State Deputy Guy Steyer and Chairman of the Laws and Resolutions Committee to present the resolutions to be considered at the annual meeting. Because many of these resolutions are in nature of standing resolutions, meaning they are no controversial or latitory in nature, or one that compiled or complements our programs, we hope to dispense with the formal reading of each of these and read a summary or a brief summary of them. Any resolution that are new or it may be in significance that may be read in their full entirety. I now recognize Paul Scheer, District Deputy 32. Here you go.
Worthy State Deputy, I make the motion that any of the resolutions that are in the nature of standing resolutions, meaning they are non-controversial of a laudatory nature, meaning that they are non-controversial of a laudatory nature, or one which complements our programs, the state advocate dispense with their formal reading and proceed with a brief summary of them. Those resolutions that are new or are of such significance as determined by the Laws and Resolutions Committee will be read in their entirety.
The chair recognizes Jeremy Dickman, District Deputy 52.
Worthy State Deputy, Jeremy Dickman, District Deputy 52. The motion of any resolutions that are in the nature of standing resolutions, meaning they are non-controversial, of a laudatory nature, or one which complements our programs, the State Advocate dispense with their formal readings and proceed with a brief summary of them. Those resolutions that are new or in such significance as determined by the Laws and Resolutions Committee will be read in their entirety.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Prior to reading the resolution, let me explain the policy governing debate. Article 4, Section 5, should anyone wish to address himself to any issue, he will be allowed 3 minutes on that subject and may not speak more than once on the same subject. Only one other individual can take the same position will be allowed an additional 3 minutes. Therefore, the maximum allotted time for debate on any issue will be 12 minutes, 6 minutes for, 6 minutes against. Before proceeding with the reading of the resolutions, I will explain to you the 4 types of recommendations available for the Resolutions Committee. After careful consideration, the committee suggests one of these 4 recommendations. The recommendations of the committee will be given following the reading or summary of the reading of the entire resolution. The 4 types of resolution are as follows. Rejection. This is a resolution with good intent but could start a bad precedent or may be in conflict with the Supreme or State Council bylaws. No action. This is a resolution with good intent but at the time is not right or the committee believes it should be considered as another resolution of similar nature. Number 3, adoption. This is a resolution that the committee believes should be adopted. 4, refer to the state officers. This is a resolution that would be affecting program or other matters that fall under the jurisdiction of the State Council. Are there any questions? If not, I will entertain a motion that after the reading of a resolution or a summary of it, that the recommendation of the committee be adopted by the drop of the gavel, providing no objections are made prior thereto. The chair recognizes Mike Hines, District Deputy number 2.
Worthy State Deputy, Mike Hines, District number 2. I make a motion that after the reading of a resolution or a summary of it, the recommendation of the committee be adopted at the drop of the gavel, providing no objections are made prior to thereto.
The chair recognizes Ray Rodriguez, District Deputy number 18.
Worthy State Deputy, Ray Rodriguez, District Deputy 18, seconds the motion that after the reading of a resolution or a summary thereof it, the recommendation of the committee adopt at the drop of a gavel, providing no objections are made prior thereto.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? I now call on past State Deputy and State Advocate Guy Steyer for the reading of the resolutions.
This is where you usually adjust the mic for me. The Laws and Resolutions Committee recommends the adoption of all of the following resolutions, as they are generally laudatory in nature or express continued support for the programs or actions of the Kansas State Council or the KofC Charities Aid Foundation. Resolution number 1 expresses our loyalty to our new Supreme Knight, Patrick E. Kelly, who upon taking the office stated It is often said that what the Knights are what men need. He said, I believe it is also true that the Knights are what men want. We are a community of purpose, a brotherhood of faith, and a force for good for the things that matter most. The order is made for the moment we are in as a church, as a country, as families, and as men. Resolution 2 expresses laudatory remarks to past Supreme Knight Carl A. Anderson. Resolution 3 expresses our devotion to Mary and the year of St. Joseph. Resolution 4 expresses appreciation to the state officers and district master for conducting the affairs of the Kansas jurisdiction. Resolution 5 expresses a special appreciation to State Chaplain Reverend Bernie Georges. Resolution 6 expresses special appreciation to Associate State Chaplain Reverend Father Meinrad Miller for his leadership and spiritual guidance. Resolutions 7, 8, 9, 10 express special appreciation to our support of our Holy Father, the bishops and priests of Kansas, and special thanks to Archbishop Naumann for allowing the Knights of Columbus in Kansas to hold this 120th State Convention in Topeka. Resolution 11, submitted by La Crosse Council 2970, to be read in its entirety. Whereas during Supreme Knight Virgil C. Deckett's tenure, the Knights of Columbus became honoring exemplary Catholic families at the state, council, and international level with a Family of the Year award. And whereas in 1980, Supreme Knight Deckett designated the office chapel in 1 Columbus Plaza as the Holy Family Chapel, honoring the family unit in accordance with his belief that the Knights of Columbus should be a family organization. And whereas in 1982, Virgil and Ann Deckett were appointed by Pope John Paul II as one of just 20 worldwide couples to be members of the Pontifical Council for the Family, where they would be reappointed to the council for 5-year terms in 1988, 1993, and 1998. And whereas in 1987, Pope John Paul II appointed Virgil and Ann as auditors for the 7th Ordinary General Assembly of the Synods of Bishops in Rome to examine the role of the laity in church affairs. And whereas past Supreme Knight Virgil C. Deckett, the longest serving Supreme Knight in the Order's history, and his supportive wife Anne raised 4 children and graciously represented all the families of the Knights of Columbus, continually supported life from conception until death, and gave testament that the work of a practicing Catholic begins with the family. And whereas past Supreme Knight Carl A. Anderson credited Deckett for refocusing the Knights of Columbus as an organization committed to strengthening Catholic families and Catholic marriages. And where, in her remarks to the Knights of Columbus at the 1992 Supreme Convention, where she became the first recipient of the Gaudium et Spes Award, the highest honor granted by the Knights of Columbus, Mother Teresa of Calcutta stated that love begins in the family by praying together, thus causing a family to stay together and love one another as God loves each one in a family. And whereas in Pope St. John Paul II's 1995 visit to Queens, New York, where he was hosted by the Knights of Columbus, the pontiff spoke on the importance of restoring traditional family values, stating, "There is no life worthy of the human person without a culture and a legal system that honors and defends marriage and the family. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Kansas State Council rename the Kansas Family of the Year Award as the past Supreme Knight Virgil and Ann Deckett Family of the Year Award, and further resolve that the Kansas State Council recommends that the Supreme Council of the Knights of Columbus rename the International Family of the Year Award as the past Supreme Knight Virgil and Ann Deckett International Family of the Year award. Clap. Resolution 12 expresses support for the cause of sainthood for our founder, Blessed Michael McGivney, who was beatified in October. Resolution 13 expresses support for the cause of sainthood for our native son, Father Emil Capon, whose remains were recently identified and will be placed in a shrine at the Immaculate Conception Cathedral in Wichita. Resolution 14 resolves our continued support of the Kansas Catholic Conference that received $295,300 from the Charities Aid Foundation through the years. Resolution 15 resolves to continue support for the Religious Education Fund program that has raised over $2,698,294 since its inception. Resolution 16 resolves to continue the Family of the Month and the Year programs promoting Catholic family life. Resolution 17 resolves to support efforts to bring about passage of the constitutional protection of all human life, including the adoption of the value of the Both Amendment to the Kansas State Constitution. Resolution 18 resolves to continue support for the ultrasound initiative to place additional ultrasound machines in pro-life pregnancy centers across Kansas. 24 machines have currently been placed in Kansas. Resolution 19 resolves to continue the annual fundraising campaign for people with intellectual disabilities. This program has raised $9,317,584 since its inception. Resolution 20 resolves to support of our Catholic press, especially the 4 diocesan newspapers. Resolution 21 encourages councils to support the Adoption Seminarian program and pray for the Rosary for Vocations. $169,300 was pledged this past fraternal year. Resolution 22 supports efforts to eliminate pornographic materials distributed by all types of media. Resolutions 23 and 24 resolves our commitment to participate in Supreme's Christopher Fund matching program that assists the Catholic campus centers and religious education in Kansas. Last year's earnings were $30,728.52, with $1,098,853.68 given in support of Catholic education over the years. Resolution 25 resolves our support for victims of disaster through the EDAP program. This fraternal year, $16,597 was given to victims of disasters. Since its inception, 5,623 claims totaling $1,241,421 has been distributed. Resolution 26 encourages growth of the Centennial Fund in support of Catholic education. The corpus is now at $400,000. 27 resolves to fully support our troops and encourages prayer for those wounded or those who lost their lives in our defense. Resolution 28 resolves our continued support for the Father McGivney Military Chaplain Scholarship Program. Kansas has donated over $30,000 to the fund. Resolution 29 expresses appreciation to Convention Chairman Tom Smidler, Galen Greenwood, and the Convention Committee for their planning and hospitality this weekend. Resolution 30 recognizes our namesake, Christopher Columbus, and resolves to continue to support the holiday, the public monuments, and commemorations that honor his life and historic contributions. It further encourages greater civility and to recognize the respect, the long history of the native people of our country. Resolution 31 recognizes our response to the COVID-19 pandemic and the Leave No Neighbor Behind initiative. The Knights of Columbus in Kansas contributed $76,000 and coupled with a $30,000 grant from the KofC Charities Aid Foundation, a total of $106,000 was distributed by the Kansas State Council to the 4 diocesan Catholic charities organizations to assist those affected by this virus. It also encourages our members to continue to respond to the challenges to those impacted by this pandemic. That concludes the resolutions. I do request that the members of the Laws and Resolutions Committee to stand to be recognized. Thank you much.
I now call on past State Deputy and President of the KofC Charities Aid Foundation, Vincent P. Melvin III, for his report.
Reverend Fathers, worthy State Deputy, my brother Knights. Knights of Columbus Charities Aid Foundation, through the Emergency Disaster Aid Program, better known as EDAP, helps people who have suffered large material losses to their homes because of natural disaster, which includes fire, flood, tornadoes, etc. The fund is available regardless of race, color, or creed. This past year, through the EDAP program, we approved 31 grants covering food, clothing, and shelter for over $20,000. Additionally, a microburst caused major damage in Oswego, Kansas. Gift cards for $250 were passed out to 19 families whose homes have been damaged or destroyed. My thanks to past State Deputy George Miller, past State Deputy Patrick Winchester, State Secretary Mike Grodoff, State Membership Director Ed Miller, District Deputy 17 Rick Goodyear, for their help in passing out the gift cards. Since the Kansas Corporation is a requirement for statewide solicitation, the fund is also corporate agent for the handling the Commitment to Humanity program, or the Tootsie Roll Drive. Due to the COVID-19 virus, the Kansas Special Olympics held some regional contests via Zoom this year. We did provide $19,210 of financial support to make sure the athletes could compete this year. This was our 43rd year as a prime sponsor of this tournament. A grant of $9,000 was made to each diocese in Kansas to help support their programs for persons with intellectual disabilities, and a $6,000 grant was given to Lake Mary Center. The Religious Education Fund continues our fundraising efforts for the ever-increasing needs of Catholic education. Through your support of this program, funds were made available for grants totaling $93,360 across the state in support of Catholic schools and CCD programs. The Board of Directors made several special grants, which included $10,000 to Catholic Conference, $20,000 to the Catholic campus centers across Kansas. These and other special requests are providing grants because of the earnings of the Christopher Fund. Your continued support for the Pennies from Heaven, Commitment to Humanities, and the Religious Education Fund program are greatly appreciated. I remind you that memorials and bequests are encouraged to be given to the fund to carry out in the memory of someone to support a special program while the corpus remaining intact. Thank you. Respectfully submitted, Vincent P. Melvin III.
As a supplement to the KofC Charities Aid report, I'm pleased to announce the following announcement to the foundation is pleased to report that it was the recipient of a $310,000 endowment from the Virgil and Ann Decant Charitable Trust to be administered to the Charities Aid Foundation. The proceeds will be distributed to the Catholic colleges in Kansas for the Catholic education. This will be restricted endowment measuring only the proceeds will be distributed with a corpus not to be lowered than $300,000. The Charities Aid Foundation would like to thank Ann Deckant, past State Deputy Tom Deckant, Karen Thompson, Dan Deckant, and Bobby Deckant for their establishing and maintaining of this endowment gift. Currently, the fund has been invested in its Charities Aid Foundation Christopher Fund. I would like to recognize past State Deputy Tom Deckant for his assistance in this matter. I ask Tom Deckant to please stand and be recognized at this time. And Tom, I would like for you to pass on to your mother Ann and to your siblings a sincere thank you for this gracious gift that you gave to the Charities Aid Foundation. Thank you very much. I now call on Pat Winchester, past State Deputy and District Master for the 4th degree for the District of Kansas for his remarks for the 4th degree.
My brother Knights, James W. Gibbons was appointed the first master of the 4th degree for Kansas and Oklahoma in 1907. After 114 years of service, I'm proud to report that the 4th degree in Kansas is strong and active with a bright future. This year has marked another milestone for the 4th degree with the addition of the Supreme-approved virtual ceremony for exemplifications. The COVID-19 shutdown created some difficulty in both hosting exemplifications and creating new assemblies. However, Kansas was given and has taken advantage of the opportunity to participate in virtual 4th degree exemplifications with other jurisdictions in the Father Juan de Padilla province. Kansas participated with the Nebraska jurisdiction on both February 16th and March 14th. Kansas also participated in an exemplification hosted by Iowa on March 21st and Missouri on March 29th. These exemplifications have proven fruitful in helping gain membership for our order in Kansas, as the 4th degree has added 169 new members through this new method of intake. The Kansas 4th degree exemplification team has developed a virtual exemplification now, and I'm currently preparing to add dates to the calendar to allow for assemblies to add members. Every Sir Knight is encouraged to recruit Sir Knights for future exemplifications. Only through the recruitment of new Sir Knights will your assembly remain strong and active today and into the future. I would like to express my appreciation to my fellow 4th degree team members, George Miller, Bill Ballman, Guy Steyer, Francis Druard, Scott Marth, Andy Gilner, Ed Miller, Father Meinrad Miller, Austin Lager, and Kevin Martin for the excellent and professional manner that they exemplified the degree of patriotism in our virtual exemplification. Patriotism imposes a duty to be informed and active American citizen. Our country needs your support. Before I conclude my report, this morning, our worthy state chaplain, Father Bernie, he issued us a challenge. He threw down the gauntlet. He said that we are the point of the spear. Gentlemen, I encourage all of you to participate in the tentative date, January 27th in Topeka, as we gather once again for the March for Life. Our legislators need to understand that this is serious, that we support this issue, and we will not fail because failure is not an option. Respectfully submitted, District Master Pat Winchester. Vivat Jesus.
Thank you, Pat. I now ask State Treasurer Gary Wandera and State Administrative Director Doug Weethorn to pass out the per capita statements, and I ask that the Credentials Committee can be excused to set up their payment table at this time. Next, I would call on our general agent. Oh, okay. Excuse me, I skipped over one here. I'll call on our state warden, Norbert Flax, for the report of mileage and per diem first.
Delegates and brother knights, the Committee on Mileage and Per Diem submits the following report to the convention. Mileage will be paid at the rate of 7 cents per mile each way, the shortest distance from your respective council. Per diem allowance shall be $25 for each day of actual attendance, not to exceed 2 days. At the specific time to be announced by our state deputy, checks will be issued to the state officers, program and membership directors and chairmen, district deputies, insurance representative, and council delegates, providing said delegates are able to show receipt from the state secretary and show a proof of statement of the per capita tax for their respective council. Can I have the committee, Mileage and Per Diem Committee, please stand and be recognized? Respectively submitted, Norbert Flax, State Warden.
Now I call on General Agent Darren Reed for the insurance agent report at this time. Darren? There he is.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. You can stop your applause now. Jeez. You guys give standing ovations to the janitors, and we don't get nothing? Oh well. I've been wanting to say that for 16 years, so forgive me. Worthy State Chaplain, Reverend Fathers, Worthy State Deputy, Worthy Supreme Director, State Officers, District Master, District Deputies, Field Agents, Delegates, and Brother Knights. I'm on my 16th year with the order, through my 3rd year as a general agent, but I was a field agent for 13 years, and I always enjoyed starting my council meetings with a joke. And though I'm sure Norbert will say it is broke, I figure if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, a drunk staggers into a church, enters a confessional booth and sits down, but says nothing. The priest coughs a few times to get his attention, but the drunk continues to sit there. Finally, the priest pounds 3 times on the wall. The drunk mumbles, "Ain't no use knocking, there's no toilet paper on this side either." Because Ed, he thought it was a toilet. I'll explain it to you later. It's an Army Marine, don't look at me like that. Nothing but love and respect for my soldier brother. Now, they say the Marine Corps is part of the Department of the Navy. It's the men's department of the Navy. Yeah, thank you. Okay. To start, I would like to point out that the cause for Blessed Father McGivney's beatification is a young man named Mikey Shackle. Mikey's father is a friend and fellow general agent, Daniel Shackle. I find the fact that the miracle for Father McGivney's beatification is the son of a general agent as proof of not only the integral part the insurance plays in our order, but also proof that we are not two sides of the same coin, but a united force in the mission to fulfill Blessed Father McGivney's vision of protecting Catholics. Once again, the Knights of Columbus Insurance Program continues to grow and set new records. The Knights of Columbus Insurance Program now has over $121 billion of insurance in force worldwide, with more than $4.7 billion of that total here in Kansas. Last year, our Kansas agencies issued approximately $340 million of life insurance on members and their families. Also, Kansas families sent to the Knights of Columbus Supreme Office over $45 million in new premium to life, long-term care, disability, and annuity coverage. Our full-time agency staff continues to grow and to work with the council officers in membership growth. Our professional staff have been the leaders in membership recruiting. Additionally, this past year, the Knights of Columbus launched several new initiatives through a very challenging pandemic. We quickly adopted to a new virtual appointment platform to service our members' needs in a safe and efficient way. Introduced a new virtual fraternal benefit night with world-renowned experts in the financial world, and it has been very well received. We've lowered our term rates to be more competitive and introduced our new single universal life coverage. We doubled our fraternal stillborn coverage to $1,500. Dan Reed, and as I say the name of the field agent, please stand. Dan Reed, Kirby Schmelsley, Skylar Tebow, Tyler Bruggeman, Adam Bruna, Dan Ordonez, Hector Soler, and Sean Lindenberger of the Reed Agency, as well as Luke Henry, Dave Sokup, John Dorsey, Luke Baker, and Ray Gerritsen of the Mahon Agency, Tyler Meyer, Bill Weber of the Schaefer Agency, John Scheibe, and Tim Vogelai of the Pierce Agency. All of these men qualified for the prestigious $1 Million Roundtable. Myself and Dave Sokup have qualified as life members of MDRT, which makes the Reed Agency the first agency I know of that every field agent and the general agent is a member of the $1 Million Roundtable. Thank you. To become a life member, you must qualify 10 times. The MDRT recognition is awarded to only 1% of all life insurance agents, both fraternal and commercial worldwide. The Pierce Agency finished the year number 1, Mahon Agency number 17, our agency 21, Schaefer Agency finished 38. That's out of 89 agencies throughout America and Canada. It's phenomenal. We're truly at the tip of the spear here in Kansas. Special congratulations goes out to Kevin Pierce and his team on finishing number 1. Outstanding, guys. Ray, as you saw earlier, Ray Gerritsen of the Mahon Agency was recognized as Rookie of the Year for the entire order in 2020 with an overall finish of 13 in his first year with the order. He also finished as the top agent in Kansas and was the first winner of the Virgil C. Decken Agent of the Year Award. Congratulations, Ray. The following men were our leaders for 2020 and have qualified for the Knights of Columbus incentive trip. Schaefer Agency was Tyler Meyer and Bill Weber, with Tyler Meyer also qualifying for Supreme Knights Club, which is basically the cream of the crop within the Knights. The Mahon Agency, Dave Sokup, Luke Henry, John Dorsey, and Ray Gerritsen. Ray Gerritsen was Supreme Knights Club. In the Reed Agency, my Assistant General Agent Dan Reed and Skylar Tebow were Supreme Knights Club. Tyler Bruggeman, Adam Bruna, and Sean Lindenberger also qualified for the trip. In the Pierce Agency, John Scheibe was Supreme Knights Club, and Tim Vogelai also qualified for the trip. And myself, Kevin Pierce, and John Mahon were all Supreme Knights qualifiers. That's really about all I got, unless anybody has any other jokes or anything. It's kind of going to my head now that I got some attention finally. Jeez. With that, Semper Fi and Viva Jesus.
Thank you, Darren, and thank all the general agents and the field agents. Once again, I would like to thank all them for doing one hell of a job this year. When I went into this job this year, I needed help in jumping in on membership. These men jumped right on my ship and made things happen. To date, they have recruited almost 300 members here in Kansas. So at this time, I ask all of the members here in Kansas to let them know how much we do appreciate the order and the insurance agents within our state here in Kansas. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you again. I now call on State Advocate Guy Steyer to explain the procedure for paying for the per capita and receiving your credentials.
Worthy District Deputy, or in his absence, a representative of the district, you have each been given a per capita assessment statement for each council in your district, and it would look like this. You are expected to submit the per capita for the councils in your district at the requested location. This year, collection will take place in the Sunflower Room, which is across the hall where we had the hospitality room last night as well as later tonight. Detach the bottom portion of the assessment sheet and present it with your payment. Once payment is made, you will receive credentials for that council. There's also a checklist in each district in the envelope that will help you as a district deputy or representative to organize collection. This will keep your councils in good standing with the state and Supreme Councils, will allow delegate voting privileges at Sunday's business session, and will allow delegates from your district to collect mileage and per diem checks. You can pay via credit card. We will have a Square terminal available. You will take checks first, though, by your district and turn those into the representatives, and then you will be directed to a Square station to complete that transaction with State Treasurer Gary Wondra. You are strongly encouraged to host a district caucus at some point during this weekend and prior to the business session. It is suggested that it be held today after the council per capita has been paid, so you can distribute the receipts of paid per capita and credentials to the delegates from the councils in your district. Now, credentials are a three-part form, and you will again receive this after you've paid the per capita. The top part of the form is for room admission. So tomorrow morning, you will need to come in, and then it will take the top part of this form, and it's perforated. To get into the room, a third-degree card will get you, is what you will need. If you are an honorary lifeguard member, that doesn't work, because we don't necessarily know if you're a third-degree member. So you may have to have somebody vouch for you. The middle part is your delegate's copy, and I guess I'm addressing this to the delegates for tomorrow. And the bottom part is what you will need for voting if there is a contested election. This copy is, again, required to cast a vote. Any questions at this time, and you'll give further instructions as far as where you'll pay again. So hopefully you've been able to collect that. If there's any questions, again, when you're processing that in the Sunflower Room, they'll try to address those.
Thank you, Guy. At this time, is there anybody else that's still on the Credentials Committee that has not excused themselves to go assist with the collection of per capita? If there is, please make your way back over to the Shawnee Room to get ready for everybody to come in there. So, okay? If not, I'm not sure what to do, because it says that a recess is supposed to happen at 3:40, and it's only 2:53. We're ready to go? Okay. For that, I'll call on our state chaplain, Reverend Bernie Georges, for a closing prayer. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay, yes. Before we begin with that, good, thank you. The aides of the warden need your assistance as well. Make sure you stay in here after the room. Next, everybody in the room, if you pick your chairs up, stack them in stacks of 6. That's what the banquet will use at the tables tonight. The hotel will do that in order for them to flip the room for the banquet tonight. So stack your chairs in groups of 6. We can do this. We can be done with it in about 5 minutes after the meeting's over with. So at this time, I'll call on our state chaplain, Father Bernie.
Please stand. The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
May Almighty God bless you, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Go in peace.
This meeting is recessed and will come to order again at 9:30 in the morning after the memorial mass right here in this location.